Hey friends, welcome to Produce is People, the podcast with Nate Montgomery, the produce champion. I hope you enjoy the show. Make sure that you listen to it, make sure you share it, and make sure that you tell us what you think about it. Hey friends, Nate Montgomery, the produce champion, here on the Produce is People podcast. We have Darrel Beyer with us as a guest. We talked last time about, kind of his history in produce. And one of the things that I wanted to talk about with you, Darrel, thanks for being on this show with us again. I always like talking about the hands of produce. That is to say, the individuals who are touching a produce item and how it gets to the shelf. So the organic buyer, generally speaking, and I'm making very broad strokes, is a much more conscientious buyer, is more in tune, more involved with what's going on. But even those buyers probably aren't fully aware of the impact that their purchase makes. You know, when you're buying a $3 head of kale, or when you're buying a thing of romaine, maybe it's $3, $4, maybe even a $10 purchase. I don't know, wherever the retail is. And but when you're doing that, you're voting with your dollars and you're saying, I believe in this product, I believe in these individuals. What's it like to get that, since you're the kale king, what's it like to get the kale all the way from your field all the way to my IGA or my Safeway or my Walmart or whatever?
That's a long road, let me tell you. So generally, it's about 3 months of growing. So you get your planters and you go plant. Then we harvest, it goes to the warehouse, then it's got to cross the border. So I'm an importer on record, so I can import anything I want. But then from there, then it goes to a cooler, then it gets reshipped to wherever it's going, your IGA, your Whole Foods. But I would say conservatively, probably that kale is handled by about 200 people before it gets there, just between harvest, weeding, spraying, all those things that go into keeping that kale healthy enough to make sure it makes that ride. It's touched by a number of people. And the costs that are incurred with all of those things, they add up very quickly.
Yeah, I'll bet.
Between the crossings at the border, cooling, storage, transportation, so it touches a lot of hands before it even gets to my cooler. There's a lot of people that get that are taken care of and fed and have good jobs because we do this. But there's a lot of hands that go into it, and it's not easy. The conventional world, they can just spray it. It's more automated. There's less people, which is unfortunate for the people. It's better for company owners. But is that really at the end of the day the best thing? I don't know. I believe in the people. I'm not a big fan of the automated thing. But this is the way it's going to go. I would assume eventually, and then less hands will touch it. It'll be more automated. But even with all that automated stuff, there's still a lot of mistakes that happen with the X-ray machines and everything. So I'm a believer in the people, and people that love their job, they do it. They do it like they love it. And a machine has no relationship with that field, and there's a lot of love and labor that goes into getting that to market. Yeah.
Well, if we stop and think, I don't know what other people do. Anytime that I eat a meal, I say a prayer. I express gratitude for the meal that I'm going to have. But sure, when I started considering the number of people that affect whatever's going on my plate, then that gratitude, it just grows exponentially. I'm thankful for every single one of those individuals, and I'm thankful that in some small way, it's really, a fraction, we're talking fractions of pennies probably that are going to each of these families, but that I get to contribute with my dollars. I get to vote with my dollars. And so as consumers, if we think that way, maybe we'll be less inclined to only buy the cheapest or only buy when it's on sale, but that we're thinking how we're keeping somebody else's livelihood going and how we need that for our, we need our customer base to buy from us for whatever job you have, whether it's in computer programming or whatever. It's an important thing, and there's a need to be thankful and a great need for gratitude in that sense. No,
I agree 100%. A lot of people, I think when they eat, they just eat, and it's like an unconscious thing. They don't think of where it came from or how it got there. I mean, it's they just take it for granted. There's so many people, and I don't think it's necessarily their fault. There's not a lot of people out there pushing and teaching and educating, consumers. But I think the biggest problem right now is, the inflation is killing people.
Yeah.
People are not buying the 2-pound bag of spinach anymore because, they don't want to throw away any of it. A year ago, they'd buy it, and if they dumped or threw away, a quarter of the bag, they didn't really care. My biggest qualm in this whole industry, especially because I've been in it for so long and I saw how it was back in the day. My grandfather could call, Albertsons and say, "Hey, I have 10 loads of grapefruit, and I need to push it this weekend." They'd put it in the ad that weekend. Boom, yeah. Push it, it's gone. But now it takes 8 weeks to get an ad in a paper. And a lot of times, when you give these supermarkets or these chains really aggressive pricing, they don't relay that to the customer like ever. They keep their margins high. They don't relay the aggressive pricing we're trying to give to move more product and get it in more people's houses. I think that's a big problem. I know, 90% of supermarkets make all their money on produce, but I mean, people can't afford it all the time. So, the fact that all these big supermarkets are buying them all, and they're just, giant companies, and you only have 10 of them now as opposed to 50 of them before. They could take care of customers so much better and help us move so much more product. There's a lot of product that goes to waste, unfortunately. And, I think a lot of people don't realize that either. So, I mean, with the food that goes to waste and, disc fields, I mean, you could almost feed probably like the whole world with the waste.
Yeah. That's a big subject right there.
Yeah. So, I mean, these chain stores got to start being a little more aggressive and relaying prices to customers so they can afford it and they can have that good food and help us pay for all the guys that got it there.
Yeah. Well, I just, I go back to, certainly the chain stores are not the enemy, but there's a balance there where
sure.
You've got buyers that are handling so many commodities. They have no time at all. They're on the phone 24/7. You feel sorry for them. They probably don't get to even enjoy eating the stuff that they're buying. They're
that's true.
So they got a tough gig, and then they're answering to shareholders, and there's
no. I mean, there's so much more to it.
Stuff. But at the end of the day, you're right, and I'm going to tease here. In an upcoming episode here, we'll be talking with somebody who started his career, very successful guy. He's not in the produce industry anymore. He hasn't been in the produce industry for years, but he got his start in life in the produce department. And he talks about, he's going to tell us about how produce life was for him. And it's very different now than it was 15, 20, 30 years ago. And not all of it's good.
Not all of it's bad.
Yeah. But we have to find that balance. And I hope that this is like a pendulum thing where at some point it's going to swing back, because my feeling is most people enjoy having that produce clerk, that feeling like you're going to the little market, the fruit market or whatever, where they're saying, here, taste this, here, try this, here's something new. And I've got a feeling at some point that's going to revert back. I know my happy place during the pandemic was a Fred Meyer store just down the street from us, and that's a Kroger banner, right? And
yeah,
the produce department is just stinking huge. And I would just go in there and walk around there, kind of get grounded, because we couldn't travel, we couldn't do a lot of the stuff that we normally do. And
Sure.
so I'd go there and walk around and just kind of like, oh, this is so cool. And during the pandemic, we saw a lot of people started buying more produce, started taking it home more, weren't eating out at restaurants because they couldn't. And I think some of that has stuck around. So
I agree. And like same here. There's a Rayleigh's down the street, and I go down there all the time and go look in the produce department, see who's got what. And the funny thing is, I go to Walmart though, and man, their produce department's pretty big, but I just don't see, Walmart, don't kill me, but I just don't see the quality on their shelves. I don't know. It always seems like the radishes are kind of, tops are rotten. It's really weird, because if they lowered the retail, they would have been gone and they would have caught more and they wouldn't go bad, but it is what it is. I like touring I like touring supermarkets too. My wife thinks I'm a nut, but I like going and seeing whatever.
Anytime I go anywhere, the first thing I do is go to a retail store.
I go straight to the produce department.
Yeah, it tells you a lot about the area. What's being sold, what it looks like, how it's stocked, how it's shelved,
packaging, everything.
Yeah.
So if you're in this world, those are good things to just go cruise around every now and then and see what's going on, see the changes. Some of this biodegradable plastic packaging, made out of cornstarch or whatever. There are people trying to advance things, and you don't really know about them until you go to a store and see it.
Yeah, it all matters. And the cool part is, and one of the things that we talk about is, there are those who would preach the gospel, so to speak, of organic, for example, or regenerative, there's a need at every level. And whether it's a financial need or whether it is a time need, there's a need at every level. And there is a grocery store or a retailer that can meet that need. And so I always want to encourage, start where you are. Don't feel like I'm not doing the right thing, or I'm not eating right if I'm not organic, regenerative, salmon safe, all of these other things. Those are great things, but just start with where you're at. And anytime that you're moving away from processed sugar, processed flour, processed whatever, and you're going to more fresh, it's a great start. And just kind of move in that direction. And
just migrate over and slowly do it. I just think the organic is just so much better for you as for a person. I remember when I lived in Oxnard forever, and I'd go for a run every day, and I was surrounded by berry fields, and I'm running, and I'd have to put a handkerchief or something over my mouth, because they're spraying methyl bromide all over the fields.
Oh.
And you got these guys in spacesuits and tractors, and they're spraying it all over. No one else is in a spacesuit. And I'm like, I don't want to eat that. What's on that? So I think organic is the way to go. We've got to figure out how to make it, more affordable for everyone.
Yeah.
Not just, the higher art. Yeah. There's a lot of underprivileged people or kids that have, sicknesses, and organic food definitely is good for that, but a lot of them can't afford to do it, so it's sad, and it's unfortunate, because everyone should be able to have access to organic and have it be somewhat affordable. So, because there's a lot of kids out there with, autoimmune diseases and all kinds of different things. And organic is definitely a savior for those kind of kids and people. Yeah.
Agreed. Well, cool. Yeah, that's a great subject matter. We could probably dig down deeper and deeper in there, but at the end of the day, we just want to encourage, again, our friends who are watching, consumers, buyers, industry, co-workers, just keep this in mind, that start where you are, start with what you can, and fresh is better than not, and then organic is good. Keep moving that direction. no guilt, no judgment, just how can we help you eat better? Because we champion the cause of produce and healthy living, and we do that by connecting like-minded growers like Darrel and like-minded buyers like the retail stores and like you as a consumer. So that's what we're all about. We're all about healthy eating.
It's a big team out there.
yeah. And we don't. So sometimes you don't even know who's on the team, but it's a big team.
It is, exactly, 100%.
Yep. Well, Darrel, again, thank you so much. Another successful episode. I look forward to having you in the future and maybe get some updates. And
you call me anytime. I'm willing to jump on one of these with you anytime. We can talk produce and talk people and push the cause. You know,
I love it. Great. Well,
appreciate you.
Like I said, like we always say in social media, as in produce, if you like it, share it, and make sure your friends and family see this. And next time when you're at the produce department, think of Darrel, think of his crew down in Mexico, think of us over here at the headquarters of the Produce Champion in Yakima, Washington. Have a great day.